And thanks, Senator Hoeven and Congressman Terry, for really playing the lead on this issue and being dedicated to continuing this discussion. I guess, ironically, I'd also want to thank President Obama for calling attention to this yet one more week. And I guess it's possible to report this story and act like that President Obama is really an important part of playing an important part here in getting this done, but I don't quite know how you write it that way. It's already been well discussed that this is the one thing that the government doesn't have anything to do with, and so he's down there saying we're moving forward with this while the government's holding back the part that the government does control. It's sort of like talking about, as they are constantly doing now, that we're producing more oil and gas than we have in a long time, but we're not producing more oil and gas than we have than we were producing in the areas the government has anything to do with. We're actually producing less oil and less gas in those areas where Americans are able to make the decisions largely on their own, invest the money on their own, not apply for drilling in the Gulf or looking for gas and oil on public lands that were previously available. There's less being produced there. This is a policy that makes no sense, and it makes no sense to the American people. Secretary Chu last week said he'd give himself an A-. I think he actually gave himself more than an A- for the policies that impacted gas pump prices. Now, maybe that's because Secretary Chu said that he thought, that our gas should be as high as gas in Europe, that was our problem, that our gas prices just weren't high enough, and it didn't force us to use more expensive sources that he would prefer to see us use. When you're standing at the gas pump, these policies don't make sense. And people know it when we're in Missouri or North Dakota or South Dakota or Nebraska or anywhere else represented in Indiana, Texas, Louisiana, and you mentioned the Keystone Pipeline. People understand that we should be getting resources from our nearest neighbor that has abundant resources, that wants to sell them to us and is going to sell them to somebody else if we don't buy them. Every other country in the world looks at its natural resources, and the first two words they think of are economic opportunity. And that should be the first two words you think of. What can we do with this in the safest possible way that enhance our economy, create jobs, and help families? And so if we won't buy the tar sands oil from Canada, they're going to turn that pipeline another way, and they'll sell it to Asians, primarily to China. And that's exactly what they should do for the best interest of their own economy and families in their own country. And for the best interest of our economy, we should be buying it. We should say, sure, we're glad to have that from you. You're a great trading partner. When we send you $1, you send almost that entire dollar back to us. We don't have to worry about energy security for the energy we'd be getting from Canada. Well, why aren't we doing this? And then why would the president be in such a desperate position on this that he has to go to call attention to this one more week and try to take credit for the one thing that he has no involvement in? I'm glad to talk about it, and thanks to President Obama for bringing it up again today.
Thanks, Roy.